Good afternoon. My name is Shirley Lindsay. I am a math teacher at Nettleton Junior High. I teach resource math. I'm currently enrolled in the ASU Arkansas State University's online program for my master's in special ed. My husband and I, we keep therapeutic foster children in our home. We foster children that have ADD, ADHD, autism. So when I say therapeutic, I am meaning that they have some type of disability. Hopefully we teach them good hygiene skills, good social skills, and things like that that they can use throughout their life. With that said, today we're going to talk a little bit about autism, and we're also going to talk about the use of an iPad and how it can help children with autism to learn. So what is autism? Autism is basically a complex brain disorder that affects an autistic child's communication skills, it affects their social skills, and it also affects them as far as like having repetitive behaviors. And we're going to talk just a little bit about each of those before we get into how the iPad can help children. Autism, when I say it affects their social skills, I'm saying that in meaning that children with autism, they have a really hard time forming a relationship and keeping a relationship with others. It's very hard for them to make friends. When they have a conversation with someone else, it's usually one-sided because they don't know how to respond back. They can't sit down and play a game with other children and follow the rules because they don't know how to talk back and forth. They have a hard time with facial expressions, with physical gestures, and they also have a hard time making eye contact. When you talk to a child that has autism, they're either looking down or they may be looking off. So there's many things that affect their social skills. Another thing is communication skills. They have a hard time carrying on the conversation because the conversation is usually one-sided. As I said a few minutes ago, that they can't respond back and carry on a conversation, a back and forth conversation as we did with our peers. They have a hard time reading, they have a hard time writing, and there's just they may not even be able to talk. So there's just a lot of things going on with the communication skills. And the other thing is repetitiveness. Children with autism, sometimes they may rock back and forth, they may flap their hands back and forth. They may have verbal gestures that they repeat over and over and over again. So that's what I mean when I say repetitiveness. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about how an iPad can help children with autism. One of the biggest things that I have learned from researching how iPads can help children who have autism is that those children who cannot talk, they can use the iPad to communicate. For instance, they can use the iPad if they need to go to the bathroom and they need to communicate with their teacher saying, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. They can use visual aids on the iPad. They could bring up a picture of a bathroom, show it to the teacher, and then telling that teacher, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. Or they could pull up a picture of a plate of food if they're hungry. So there's many ways that they can use an iPad. One thing that I do like about an iPad is a teacher can take a lesson or put an application on the iPad and make that teaching application, they can focus it just towards the needs of that child, specific to that child. Because a child with autism, every child is unique and not every one of them learn the same. So what works for this child may not work for that child. So I like the fact that the teacher can put an application on there and make that application that the child uses on the iPad specific to that child's needs, especially to their learning needs. An iPad is portability. It's portable. So they can take it home and use it, they can keep it at school and use it, they can take it out to a restaurant. The thing is with children with autism, they have a lot of sensory needs. They are very sensitive to light, to a lot of noise, to a big crowd. So if a parent takes their child out to dinner to tune out some of those sensory issues that they have going on, they could carry their iPad along with them and maybe play a game or look at something that they want to look at on their iPad to tune all that out. So that's a great thing. Another thing is with the iPad, it's very easy to use. They can look and just swipe the screen. There's no typing involved. There's no looking up at a screen and looking down at a keyboard, so they don't have to know how to type. So that's another great feature. One thing about the iPad is also that applications help to break down a lesson into chunks, a step-by-step process. So they can start at the bottom and kind of stair-step as they're learning. They can also use it, as I said, for independent learning on their own. There's a lot of games, math games, spelling games, reading games that will help them to learn. So if you have any, that's pretty much all I have for my presentation. If there are any questions that any of you have, I would be more than happy to answer them. There's still a lot of research to be done on the iPads. Just to let you know, I have went to some of the special ed self-contained classrooms at our school, and I have watched how the teachers use the iPad as far as teaching some of the autistic children that they teach. And the children with autism have become so acquainted with that iPad and so at ease with the iPad. Their learning is just, I can't get over how much they learn from the iPad. So I appreciate everybody coming and listening to my presentation today, and I hope that you'll be able to take something back with you as far as how the iPad, learning what autism is and how that the iPad can help teach children with autism. Thank you very much.